Dragoons, my name is Ox, and welcome back to Resident Evil 3, the finale. That's right, guys, we're ending the video. We're ending this playthrough right here, right now. Nicholai, you've gone too far. And now, well, technically, you're still gonna get away, but I mean, we won't see you past this game, so take a victory while you can, people. Oh yeah, and remember last video I mentioned Nemesis and Carlos? Yeah, well, this is why. Nemesis is still alive. And he evolved to basically become this, I don't know what you'd call this like Lovecraftian inspired wall of flesh. I would hesitate to call it H.R. Geiger stuff because it's not necessarily mechanical. In fact, there's nothing about this particular design that's biomechanical, which is what H.R. Geiger was very well known for. And yes, I do mean the same guy who did design the Xenomorph. Sorry about that. Sorry. But this is a fairly simple boss. You know, you just gotta, and I got hit. See that thing right there? The giant thing in the back? Yeah, well, that is what you use in order to take down Nemesis. This is the only thing that will stop him. And it's a one-time weapon, but it's the final fight, so it makes sense. But herein lays the problem. We managed to take Nemesis. Well, we managed to shoot him once with it. But now we gotta reset some of the cooling pods manually. Oh, and one of the weapons you can get in the shop is actually a portable version of this thing. Now, generally what you'd want to do is to get rid of those glowing sacks right there on his body. Really, they can be kind of hard to deal with, but it's not that big a deal. I would say the problem is that you can't get all of them on your first try. So you will have to do at least, or at most, two at once. I believe Nemesis will get up around here sometime, or there he is. There he is. Yeah. I tried to go for that, but I was like, maybe too risky. Because he can still get you. He like Nemesis takes up like half of this freaking room. So him getting the drop on you is very easy. And I almost die here, which is kind of a shame, really. Though I was trying to look for healing. There we go. Oh, and also this place has a bunch of pistol ammo. Like don't even try to use your regular weapons in order to do like massive damage because they won't. You know, they're mainly there so you can get rid of those sacks on his body. You know, it's like popping a pimple. And I thought I was gonna die for a minute, to be honest with you. But anyway, so on the second round, I managed to get the last cell in. And then I head on back to the rail cannon so I can shoot this asshole dead once and for all. Oh, and also, if you do have Magnum or grenades, I would recommend using them. Pistol is not a bad option, but it can leave you open. Plus, it takes a little while to actually pop the sacks. And here is the final line. Yeah, it's not as good as you want stars, I'll give you stars, but you know it still fits the action movie theme that the series has better incorporated, I think. But and finally, Nemesis is dead. And I think I broke out the Magnum because in the original RE3, technically, since you don't have any more enemies to fight, you don't need to change out weapons. And I mean, the Magnum was probably the best gun in that game, so it only made sense. Even though here, barely got to use it, fairly situational, but I mean, you know, it it's not a bad gun to have. Just I don't know. But I will spoil this. I didn't get a good time with this game because the amount of times I had to start from checkpoints and whatnot, you know, because of deaths, they will severely affect my grade. But one last thing. Taking care of this asshole who shot the goddamn vaccine. You know what? If if this guy was an overarching villain for the rest of the series, I would have freaking loved to have killed him as either Chris or Leon. Probably Chris though, because Chris is like Jill's uh closest partner actually. In fact, like I almost think they could be a couple, but I don't want to talk about that. I don't want to talk about that anymore. Just like from one Stars member to another, it would be kind of sweet if Chris actually got the kill. But if like Nicholai actually survived this game and came back as a main villain. But I don't know. Okay, now that segment where Nicholai was being held by Carlos, you need to act quickly or else he will kill Carlos and then you, resulting in a game over. Believe me, I've had that happen my first goddamn time playing this game. I will never forget it. Which is why you don't necessarily go for a headshot. You just try to shoot him so that way Carlos can, you know, knock him down to the ground. Oh, and also, Nicholai made kind of a. He made basically an empty promise, you know? You know, like. You know, like, you pretty much got rid of the only means that could help a lot of people, all for the sake of money. And you tried to kill these people on more than one occasion. So why would they have any reason to trust you? Like logically that doesn't make sense. I get it's sort of a bargaining thing. Villains do that, but still, like Nicholai seemed more intelligent than that. But anyway, Raccoon City is no more because yep, it's nuked. Umbrella pulled the trigger on that, and in Resident Evil 4, that will come back to bite them in the ass. Because Umbrella's secrets were actually brought to public light after this game, and basically the government caused their stocks to crash, showing that money is indeed power. But we'll save that for Resident Evil 4 if I do eventually get to that one. And if I do, it'll most likely be the remake, which is coming out soon, which I'm pretty excited for. You know, as I mentioned last time, but I just want to reiterate, Resident Evil 4 remake might be the next Resident Evil game I play, but no real guarantees on that. So anyway, that is the end of the Resident Evil 3 gameplay. So, my thoughts. Well, I just wanted to start with the RE Engine's strong points. You know, character models, monsters, um, locations, weapons. All of those look amazing. I mean, like, have you seen some of the lighting in these games? It's fucking fantastic. But that doesn't mean they don't have a few snags. For example, water physics. Like water, blood, just about any kind of liquid, this engine is pretty sloppy with. Like, you can tell where they try to cut a corner here and there, but, you know, it, it it's not a perfect engine. I never said that it was, but it sure as hell feels like they were trying to do something with nothing, you know? Or, wrong phrasing. It felt like that they were trying to do something that is not really what this engine is meant for. Yeah, it's a better way to say it. Sorry about that. Sorry. Anyway, uh, I did enjoy the story for the most part. There are a few snags here and there, but that's just because I played the game so many times. And then there's obviously that this is Resident Evil 2 remake, but less, you know? Like, I get it. I get what people are saying, because, it's basically built from. It's basically built with assets from Resident Evil 2. It's around half the runtime, and yeah, it feels like a lot of small details are being explained, but that's kind of the problem with Resident Evil 3 in general. Cuz um Shinji Mikami, who is the original creator of Resident Evil, he wanted Resident Evil 3 to be a side project. But unfortunately, it had to be transferred into a mainstream game so that way they could boost up the next so that way they can boost up the budget for the next gen title, which was Code Veronica. Now, and of course, like Nemesis, not exactly being that scary, but like just like that was also kind of an argument you can make with the first game. Now I think about it, or what I mean by the first game is the original Resident Evil 3. If you look at Nemesis being a bullet sponge, then the scariness factor kind of wears off. And plus, at times, he's more like a punching bag, if anything. But I will say, his mutated forms are pretty cool. But I don't know, just like I wanted there to be a little bit more from this game. I can't explain how they could have done it specifically, but for me personally, I would have liked some of the older weapons from that game to come back. Maybe a skin, maybe some skin DLC, like like Resident Evil 2 did. Because aside from like Jill's stars outfit, we don't get many. We don't get any alternate skins. So yeah, I I don't find this game bad. Okay, I do enjoy this game. But with the amount of zombies, Nemesis being here, and sometimes you not having the right ammo for the right situation, it can be a bit too challenging, if I'm being honest. So, until you're comfortable with Resident Evil 2, like you can do this stuff, like, you can do this with the back of your hand, I would not recommend this as your first title. Honestly, maybe go with something like the original Resident Evil 4, or better yet, the original Resident Evil 2, or not. Blech. Blech, sorry, just I got a little excited. Go with the Resident Evil 2 remake, and then go to this one once you feel comfortable with the former. Okay? Okay. And while if you don't want a challenge for yourself, then if you do want a challenge, you could not buy the DLC that gives you just about every weapon in the game. Like you guys are seeing, like, I didn't use any of that in this game because I wanted a challenge for you guys and to show that technically it's still possible to do. Just, you may need to rely on these for more challenging difficulties, like a nightmare and nightmare, etc. Just, hey, I don't know what I'm talking about anymore. It's getting late over here. I'm sorry. Just, I wanted to get this voiceover done with. I wanted to get this voiceover done with as soon as possible because I didn't get to do a lot of stuff today. I just had an off day, but anyway. Sorry. I need a drink. Anyway, so I do like this game, and I do recommend you play it if you are a Resident Evil fan. Okay? As a jumping point, I would not suggest this. But that being said, I do see B. And I wasn't sure what that other thing did. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for joining me on this journey through Resident Evil 3. If you guys did enjoy this series, please be sure to leave a like and comment down below telling me what you guys think. And also, please subscribe to the channel so that way, the next time I make a let's play or any kind of video in general. And with that said, reach for the stars.